Hey, shop gals and guys out there. Thank you so much for joining me, your host, Amani K. Brown, the tattoo priestess and brand maven, for another episode of Shop Gal Diaries. Before we dig into this particular episode, I want to invite you to head over to Shop Gal Diaries on Substack and subscribe there, where we'll engage more. The community is there. We'll have lives. That's where the clubhouse is. That's just where the club is. So that you know, if you are new to Shop Gal Diaries, we explore um, creativity, craft, and cultural stewardship rooted in Black tattoo culture. So while it is in Black tattoo culture, we also explore entrepreneurship and what all of those things look like the nice little intersection of 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 um of Black tattoo culture and entrepreneurship, but in that being able to uncover and discover creativity, craft, and cultural stewardship. That helps beyond tattoos. So you don't have to get tattooed. You don't have to wish to get tattooed. You don't have to pray to get tattooed. You don't have to tell me about how much you don't like tattoos to be able to engage with our content, with the stories, and with the experiences that are shared there, the think pieces and the cultural philosophy. So don't count yourself out just because it says tattoo. Tattoo is not all bad. In fact, you might discover that through Shop Gal Diaries that tattoo is a lot more cultural than what you've been programmed to believe. So I invite you to come along on these journeys with these stories, with these philosophies, with these creative think pieces. Until then, go subscribe and let's dig in to today's podcast. All right, I'll see you there. Hey, hey, guys and gals out there. How are my Shop Gal family? I hope you're well. It is another Weird to Wealth Winning Wednesday, and we are talking and digging more into the culture of gratitude. I really like this idea and this philosophy um, because, as most people would say, that when it comes to manifesting the things that you want, first be deeply thankful. And I mean, like, mean it. Be thankful for the things that you already have. So, the culture of gratitude, divine work through creativity, craft, and remembrance. Let's go on and dig in. So as you all know, this is usually a reading from the actual blog. So if you want to read the words, the transcript, if you don't want all of my extra commentary, and you just kind of want to get to it, or you just want to get to the rituals, um, then be sure to go and subscribe to the blog on Substack. You can click through the show notes and you can read it there. And yeah, let's get into it. The culture of gratitude is the practice of remembrance for reciprocity and devotion that transforms individual blessings into collective strength. It's more than saying thank you, it's divine work. For me, this practice actually began as survival, but over time it has become the foundation of my creative life, my brand, and my cultural stewardship. When I tell you that gratitude has given me more than any type of manifestation ritual could ever give me. um, so in my personal experience, when it comes to gratitude and survival, revisiting my story from college that I tell, if you don't have my book, Shop Gal Memoir, please, please, please go pick it up. Not only are you supporting a Black author, and Black authors matter, but you will hear more about my own story as this is being recorded in September, which is Suicide Awareness Month. Um, it's a great time to dig in to what um, being high functioning, but being in a really, really dark place can look like. Hopefully, some of the stories will help inspire you to pay attention to people who are around you and pay attention to yourself. So, my freshman year of college nearly broke me. Depression and suicidal ideation weighed heavy, and I turned to cutting as a way to cope with my chaos. My body became a quiet battleground. Then, came a casual conversation. Friends joked about tattoos as an alternative to self-harm. And when I say it was a really casual, it was a really casual. That small moment planted a seed. I saved, planned, and got my first tattoo, a symbol of balance, protection, and survival. Yes. That action was more than ink. It was a ritual of remembrance, a declaration that I could choose creation over destruction. Tattoo became my divine survival practice. My first step into what I now call the culture of gratitude. Tattoo became my divine ritual, transmuting burden into ceremony. So transmuting something that felt heavy into something that felt like a relief, something that felt more like a celebration, something that felt a lot lighter, so you could then process it, so you could digest it, so you could face it. Um, so gratitude helped me with all of that. Now, for the spiritual creative, gratitude as a practice, as a spiritual practice, looks something like this. Gratitude isn't just an individual act, it's a communal rhythm. In African and diasporic traditions, gratitude has always shown up as libation, song, dance, offering. It's how we say we are because you are. Every tattoo etched into skin is libation poured across generations. That's what it feels like when I tattoo. To mark the body is to thank the ancestors for survival and to call them back into the flesh. The body remembers what the world tries to forget. I literally just made a post on Facebook saying, I pay homage, Ibarel, to the Onisonon and Olulas, who are embedded in my bones. Because I always tell people when they find out about my story, tattoo wasn't something that I was looking for. I didn't just show up and want to be a tattoo artist. I didn't even want to learn how to tattoo to become a tattoo artist. I wanted to learn how to tattoo just so I knew what someone else was doing to me in such a vulnerable and emotional state. And that became a challenge, all its own. Again, it's in my book, but it became a challenge all its own that really, really shaped me into the Black female tattoo artist that most people know today. Not only do most people know today, but I am the second most prominent Black female tattoo artist in the US. There was a reason for all of this to happen. So please follow your breadcrumbs. Please practice gratitude, especially as spiritual creatives, because it does transmute a lot for us, especially when spirituality is tied to your creativity and becoming more of conversations with God, as I like to call it. So for the multi-passionate creative, gratitude as creative ritual can look something like this. In creative life, hustle tells us to keep producing, but gratitude tells us to keep remembering. The culture of gratitude reframes art as a thank you note to God, ancestors, and community. Finishing work, naming our teachers, citing lineages, these are all rituals of survival and sustainability. Creativity becomes a form of remembrance, not just expression. So a lot of times we start to create, and it's like, how do we know that we could do that? The more you start to create, the more you start to awaken things that are already in your bones. Tattoo told me that every act of creation is memory made visible. Each needle stroke, each sketch, each offering is both prayer and protest. Tattoo is divine memory made manifest. That's what that means. For the creative entrepreneur, gratitude as business and branding ethos can look something like this. Gratitude is also infrastructure. It protects relationships, clients, and collaborators. I know if you're in business, you know how many times people will say, thank you for supporting us. We wanted to just give a shout out to our clients, our customers. This is gratitude. In branding, it looks like giving credit, honoring teachers, and making your audience feel seen. This isn't entitlement, it's stewardship. Every opportunity is a gift, every transaction is a chance to build collective wealth, not just personal gain. So not just not just fuck you pay me, but how can we help and support each other is what is happening in branding and business if you are using gratitude as a part of your strategy. As a tattoo artist and creative entrepreneur, I learned early on my business only thrives when gratitude is at its core, like literally the center, the heartbeat, because it's so much. in terms of moving parts, you got to be thankful for all the shit, the ups, the down, the good, the bad, all of it. The client who sits in my chair, the clients who sit in my chair aren't just projects, they are sacred encounters. Each exchange is an act of mutual remembrance. Um, Every tattoo is an investment in remembrance. It's funny because a client and I literally just sat there the other day and she was like, I think I was supposed to come to you and I'm supposed to stay with you for a while. And I was like, huh, why is that? And as we started talking and sharing our stories with each other, it was like, shit. You mirror me, and I have so much to learn. Not that I don't have anything to learn from her, but because she made this statement, she really did pick up on what it is that why we are in relationship, right? So no client that you serve is by accident. It's a divine encounter. And last but not least, gratitude as collective liberation for the cultural steward. Excuse me, for the cultural steward can look something like this. Gratitude and community creates resilience. We survived and we remember. It resists capitalism's scarcity mindset by insisting that even in struggle, there is something to honor. In traditional African tattoo practices, body marking was remembrance of survival, of belonging, of inheritance. To be unmarked often meant to be uninitiated, unmoored. Today, each tattoo we wear is a rerouting, a refusal to forget. My own journey, choosing ink over erasure, has evolved into a larger calling, teaching, documenting, and practicing gratitude as cultural stewardship. What began as my survival is now a communal technology of return. Every mark I make is resistance, remembrance, and divine return. Literally, every mark I make has reminds me of something, a lesson, something that we can carry forward into the future or into our work, all of those things. And a lot of times I will say that while everybody doesn't get tattooed, there are life lessons in all things that I talk about with tattoo. There are things that you can extract or extrapolate from tattoo, the practice, the ritual, the culture of tattoo, and use them as life philosophies, like they actually transcend tattoo. So, with all of that, let's get into these five divine gratitude rituals. Again, if you are listening to this, the rituals are on the page. So you can go back and you can see the rituals. They're very, very simple. It's stuff that you can integrate into your everyday practice. So it's not anything that's going to be like you now have to prepare your mat. You have to do things before. Uh, this is really like you can just stop, think about it. Um, and stop and act. So here are the five divine gratitude rituals. These rituals help to embody the culture of gratitude this September, especially during Suicide Awareness Month. I think this is important because while we should, you can apply this any time of year, and in any type of mental state, especially if you're in a low mental state, it's important to note this during Suicide Awareness Month because when we're in our darkest places is a time that we cannot find gratitude. So, my personal theory is that if we allow ourselves to share in gratitude, right? Sharing gratitude, um, we tend to create more of a circle or a capsule of gratitude. So now communally, we've given and shared enough gratitude to help lift up people who are depressed, who can't do it for themselves until they can do it for themselves. So the more we can be in gratitude when there are others who are down, who can't be in gratitude, we can help support them and be in gratitude for them. So I try and be in gratitude for myself. I try to be in gratitude for someone else and hold space for someone else who may not be able to do it for themselves right now. So here are the five rituals. The first one is called the divine weight carrying ritual, and it's an ego release ritual. Name one weight you carry today and thank the ancestors for trusting you with it. If you go back to my last blog, I talk about the weight you carry and how it can feel like a burden, but it's not. It's an experience, right? And in this experience, you are able to be grateful for the experience mostly because someone else wasn't even able to be alive, right? To be able to have that experience, to be able to carry that weight. Not only that, but when you're chosen to carry a weight that seems exhaustively heavy, there is a pot of gold on the other end. You just got to be able to get to it. So when you have weights that are extremely heavy, you're being shaped, you're being molded, you're being tried, you're being pressed as a diamond, right? Into something more magnificent than what you already are. So thank the ancestors for trusting you with it because if they didn't trust you with it or, if it wasn't given to you to carry for any reason, it's because they don't trust you with it. They're going to find somebody else for the assignment. Okay. The second is a divine transmutation ritual, and this is a mindset reframe. I find this very important because a lot of times, we don't think to slow down and pay attention to our mindset. We are who we are. Our signs tell us that we are these people or anything like that. But what does your mindset actually look like? Light a candle, sit with it, get your journal, because as things come up, you're going to want to write them down. How can I honor this pain as divine remembrance? And this is something that you can actually do with your ancestors. So if you have an ancestor altar, lighting a candle with them and sitting at the altar with your journal and just talking to them, asking them how they can honor this pain as divine remembrance. Like, what is it that they want you to learn? What is it that they want you to uncover or unearth that they want you to be able to carry forward, right? In my family, my my pain or one of the heavier things that I get to carry is about financial trauma, right? There are many of us who are called to break the curses of financial trauma in our lineages, and with that alone is like the fuck, right? Um, but how can I honor this? How can I honor myself? How can I honor my ancestors? Are there stories or things that I should know about the practices that they had? Maybe I need to repeat some of those practices because it came up with certain successes. Maybe I need to let go of some of those practices that may already be embedded in me, right? But you want to uncover how you can honor this pain as divine remembrance, saying thank you for getting me this far. It's time to try something different. May also be a way to honor the pain in that space. So sit with them, talk to them, find out what it is that you are to unearth, and how you can honor it while you're carrying it. Um, yeah, yeah. The third one is going to be divine memory ritual, and this is in creative discipline. That's my jam. See that? Before creating Whisper, I remember I give thanks for what my hands already know. Because a lot of times you'll just do stuff and you'll be like, how? Oh, I didn't know that was in me, you know? I know I do as a creative, especially. And I tell people a lot of times the gift that I'm blessed with, the blessing and the curse, is that once something comes out of me once, I can't do it again. It was something that was supposed to come up. It was a conversation that was supposed to be had. It was something I was supposed to create for an experience. But once that moment passes, once it is complete, I can't do it again. My hands are like, I said what I said. Um, so giving thanks for that, giving thanks for, my hands remembered this. They already know it. And I'm grateful that I now remember it, sometimes being able to create and go into spaces allows you to access past experiences, past lives, past visions or dreams that you may have already had. So being able to use that as a way to unlock those memories, as a way to revisit those experiences and to be able to re-engage them, right? Is an important part of gratitude. So divine memory ritual before creating, you know, put your hands out. I remember, I give thanks for what my hands already know. You know, you can rub them together. You know, kind of wash yourself, whatever you feel called to do after that. But just give thanks. That's it. And that's like a 2-second ritual. It's literally like you can do that any day, anytime. You can do it, before, after creating. You can do it, in a moment while you are creating. Um, Again, I promise you these rituals are things that you could literally, interject in your day, and it has not like thrown your day off or anything. It's probably added to your day greatly, and that's about it. The fourth one is divine altar work ritual, and this is for communal stewardship. Dedicate one act of art this week as an offering to community. And this can be anything. So it could be you doing a quick sketch. It could be you doing a writing. It could be you creating a specific offer. And it's just for community. It's just for, kinfolk. It's just for, people who tattoo. It's just for whoever. But things that help you to engage with the community through gratitude. Thank you for whatever the case may be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing space. Thank you for smiling. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Whatever the case may be. Okay. Dedicate one act of art this week as an offering. And art these days is broad. It's not just visual art, so it's not just painting, drawing, or anything like that. Art. So whatever your creative expression is this week, you want to make that an act of offering to the community. Last but not least, divine realignment ritual. And this is for spiritual return. This is a great way to work with your spiritual hygiene, and just kind of, reassess and call back your energy. It's a great way to, what's the words I'm looking for? It's a great way to come back to you, right? After a week, after a few days or anything like that, we can lose ourselves. because we're weaving in and out of other people, their energy, their expectations, their projections, all this stuff. So you want to reconnect with yourself. Um, and you always want to reground yourself. You want to reestablish yourself, right? So for this spiritual return, there's three choices that reconnected you to your ancestors. This can be stuff that you've done recently. This could be stuff that you've done in a while that, before you know it, you're like, huh, I'm here. You can make the same list every day. It doesn't matter how often you're grateful for these things. Just live in gratitude, right? So list three choices that reconnected you to your ancestors and thank them out loud. Choices for me, if you need an example, would be like, becoming or asking a tattoo artist to um, teach me how to tattoo. That I asked him to apprentice me, and he said no. The choice of asking him and being open for rejection reconnected me with my ancestors. Yeah. Um, uh, the choices of doing herbs and apothecary through tattoo reconnecting me with my ancestors. The choices to explore and become a devotee within African traditional spirituality. These are three things that reconnected me with my ancestors. Say the three things out loud and thank them out loud. You don't want people like, they're not doing stuff in secret so that you could progress. They're doing stuff out loud so you could progress. So the same energy that they're meeting you with to give you your success and to hand it to you, to protect you, to fight battles, all of these things, give them the same energy in return. Okay. So those are the five rituals. Again, they are definitely on the Substack. So get there and check them out and try them. Let me know which ones you try and how you do and what was successful for you. If you're going to do them again, these rituals, with these five rituals, you can literally make, or you could do a ritual a day for weeks at a time. You can make your own prescription to say, I'm going to do three out of five of the rituals in one day. I'm going to do one ritual one day. Like I'm going to dedicate 3 days to five rituals. You could say, I'm going to do these rituals for the next 90 days and see what happens. Whatever your intention is, set your intention and then make a plan on how you can utilize the rituals um, to support your goal. So, that said, let's go ahead and close out. Living a culture of gratitude. The culture of gratitude is how we move from weird to wealth, from scars into symbols, from individual survival into collective cultural work, which is extremely, extremely important, especially today in this fucking climate. Jesus Christ. For me, tattoo was my first initiation. Technically my second, because my first one was to Zeta, but that's neither here nor there. It saved my life, then handed me back to my ancestors today. It is the core of my brand, my business, and my stewardship. This month and every month thereafter, every day thereafter, every week, every year thereafter, let gratitude be your resistance. Let it guide your craft. Let it keep memory alive because gratitude is not just something we say, it's something we make together. This is why gratitude is communal and why it's important. And remember, I gave you that analogy earlier about all of us getting together and moving in gratitude to be able to support those, especially who cannot move in gratitude. Because there are days that we get down. So everybody who's up can support and help lift us back up to where we should be, so that we can continue to work as well, not just for ourselves, but for the community as well. The culture of gratitude is not about living with blessings, it's about living as a blessing. So, all that said, I hope you live in gratitude and I hope you're somebody's blessings today, even if it's your own. Um, that is this Wednesday's Weird to Wealth think piece. And yeah, I'll see you next week. I'm going to disappear into the abyss to write a cultural stewardship playbook and to start mapping for Hoodoo Heritage Month and for the relaunch of Black Tattoo Anthology next month. So I look forward to seeing you guys again. If you enjoyed the piece, if there's something that resonates with you, please share it. Please let people know about it. If you are not a subscriber, become a subscriber. I would love to be able to talk with you more. Um, if you are already a subscriber, consider becoming a paid member, a paid subscriber. Your money goes towards Black Tattoo Anthology and the nonprofit that we are building to help support other creative entrepreneurs, creative spirits, and tattoo artists who emerging tattoo artists who need an economic lift. So that said, thank you for being here with me this Wednesday, and I will see you next week. As always, I'm rooting for you. Gambatene, and I'll see you later. Jane. All right, shop gals and guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you back for the next one. If you have not already subscribed or become a paid subscriber of Shop Gal Diaries, please feel free to do that today, like expeditiously, like yesterday. I am your host, Amani K. Brown, the tattoo priestess and brand maven. I am always around on Substack. You can ask me anything. You can slide into my DMs, ask me questions. If you enjoyed this particular episode, leave comments. Let me know, little love notes and stuff. Let me know what touched you and what part of the conversation really spoke to you, right? You can find my offers on Substack at imanikbrown.com, my life coaching and business mentorship offers. You can also find me for tattoo at littleinkplayshop.com. There's also a link for that at imanikbrown.com. So if you're looking for a mentor, a life coach, or a business mentor, I am your gal. And if you are looking to get tattooed, especially large pieces, you want some quality, wholesome ink therapy, I am also your gal. So you can find all of those things at imanikbrown.com, and I look forward to seeing you soon. As always, I am rooting for you. Gambate ne, and I will see you later. Jane. Listen to yourself, believe in yourself, and keep going. That's pretty much all you need.